Hey y'all, it's Nancy the Handy Scandy here for Whimsy Stamps. Thanks for joining me today. We are having our halfway to Halloween hop. We're calling it Half-o-ween, and it is a hashtag driven hop, meaning you use the hashtag that is in the title of my video as well as in the description box, and you just click on that hashtag, or you can type it in, whichever way works for you, and that hashtag by itself will produce a playlist of all of the videos that are in this particular hop. We have several new design team members, so there'll be some new inspiration, and yeah, you're just invited to join along. I'll give you more information on the hop, but first I want to tell you what's going on with my card on the screen. So I started out with a piece of watercolor card, and I'm making this gloriously grungy, spooky background with some Distress Oxide spray stains as well as the mica stains. Started out with black soot, and I wet it down with water just to allow it to spread. Then I hit it with my heat tool to make it dry. And with the mica stains, I am spraying them through this glorious stencil called Harlequin stencil. One of my absolute favorite Whimsy products, absolute favorite. So I sprayed through the stencil, then I flipped it over and I printed the stencil. And then with all of that extra ink, I made that extra background, if you will, that I just printed the stencil onto the white paper. And that white paper is mixed media card. So you saw me using the frame, which is called, hang on, I have it right here. I want to give you the right names. It's the Thorny Frame Die. And I was using the frame as kind of a viewfinder. And then I decided I would go ahead and die cut it out of black card, which is what I've done. And then I used the actual frame itself as my viewfinder to see kind of which part of that background I want to use. I will do that again. Right now I want to build up this frame, and I don't know how y'all feel about layering die cuts. I don't like it. I can use stronger words than that, but I'm not going to. But something I don't hate is building up layers with embossing powders. I used my Versamark ink, and then I'm just using clear embossing powder to build up layer upon layer upon layer of that clear embossing powder. And then I'm coming in with my heat tool again and some gold embossing powder. I'm heating up the embossing powder that's already on the cardstock, and while it's still damp and kind of gooey and hot is the key word, I'm dipping it into that black or that gold embossing powder so I get kind of a worn gilded look. Again, I'm using the heat tool to heat up and melt basically the clear embossing powder that's already on the frame, and while it is hot and wet and melty, I dip it into the gold and then I heat it up again, and the gold melts into the clear and it builds up that frame to me in a gloriously grungy way. So again, I used my embossed frame as a viewfinder to find the part of that background that I wanted to use. And then I cut out just a big chunk of the portion that I feel like I want to be part of the background. So then I use the oval from the initial cutting of the frame as my template, and that will be adhered to the frame itself. And essentially it will be basically like a mat. So here I'm adhering it down, and you'll be able to see what I mean by it being the mat of the picture frame. So you can see it there in the top right corner. I love it. I think it's, well, gloriously grungy. But there's a lot going on that frame. And so I wanted this solid white background, so I've used the Sprinkle Scallop Rectangle Die. I think I actually got that right. I get that wrong almost every time. Sprinkle Scallop Rectangle Dies. Go, girl. I got it right. So I use that to cut out my background. Now here I have stamped, I did not emboss, but I stamped out the I Scream, EYE Scream stamps, the large skull and the bat eye, as well as the words ICUEYE, as you can see. Now I am watercoloring, but I thought that I used watercolor safe ink. Apparently I didn't, because as you can see as I paint, especially right here, that creamy color paint is starting to kind of activate the ink that I stamped in, and it's turning the cream colored ink into a gray. But to me, that's kind of a happy accident. Same thing happened on the bat wings, where it started out as kind of that rusty brown, and then as I went further and got more and more water onto the ink, it became like a grayish brownish black. That's where that ink activated. Happy accident. And then when I sprayed it, I didn't didn't show my spraying, but you can see on the bat eye how the water kind of bloomed around the image. Again, that's because of the ink that I used to stamp with. So I have them all painted up, again using watercolors, and this is not watercolor cards, so that may be part of what the problem was. To be fair, I am not sure, but again, it was a happy accident, so I will take it. I came in with some fine liner pens just to add some detail. I wanted to add some more flesh-like tone to the gums, as well as some green and gray to the teeth to make them look kind of decayed and gross in that brain skull guy. I don't know what he is, but I think he's amazing. And so the effect that I'm going for here is that the bat eye guy is like the skull brain guy's bow tie, if that makes any sense at all. And I don't know if it reads that way once it all gets put together or not, but that was kind of the idea I had in mind. So I have the bat lifted up on some foam tape. The skull, as you can see, I don't know if he's a skull or if he's a brain. He's a brain. He's going to go on an action wobbler. But I thought he needed to be dressed up a little bit for that fancy frame that he's in. So I cut him out a top hat from the Penguin Pals die set. And this might actually be Penguin Pals Pizzazz die set. Yeah, the accessories pack, because that's where the top hat is. So the top hat, I added a few too many layers, so I had to add a counterweight of a bunch of different layers of cardstock up under his chin so that he kind of wiggles right. And then I thought, you know what? The perfect finishing touch was going to be some goo to the eyes. So I added the glossy accents. Is it glossy accents? Crystal drops to the eyes, to both the brain guy as well as the bat guy. And I think it's perfect. But then I felt like the white just kind of fell flat by itself. So that's where I came in and I added this little piece of black cardstock to the very back. And that is my card, and I think it's so good. While we finished looking at it, let me tell you about the hop, because that explanation got deeper than I anticipated. And we are here for the hop, y'all. I am participating, as I mentioned in the beginning, in the Whimsy Stamps Half-o-ween hop. It's also a giveaway. So throughout this hop, each team member is sharing their favorite Whimsy Stamps Halloween products. These are some of mine. Remember that this is hashtag driven, meaning you click on that hashtag and it's going to populate a list of all the participating channels. But I'm also going to have a list of participants in the description box, so you can use the links to their channels if that helps you out. This is a giveaway, so you want to hop along, you want to like, subscribe, definitely comment, and all the rest of the details are going to be downstairs in my description box. So guys, I ask that you like and subscribe here and hop over to my channel, see what I've created over there, and hop along to everybody else's. And until next time, this is Nancy, the Handy Scandy for Whimsy Stamps and our Half-o-ween hop. Mwah! I'm out.